any extra studio lighting with them on the lunar lander, so the sun should be the only light source on the moon, and in all pictures taken there. In that case, the light should only come from one direction, and all shadows should be cast in the opposite direction.
What was it about the theory that just got you? Where you're like,
it's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. The Earth is flat.
Yeah.
And the sun is 3,000 miles
But
away.
did you debunk him, or did you?
No, I went home. No, I went home. No, I went home, and I go, I'm just going to find a picture. It's really simple. You know, all these people that are...
It's not really simple. Okay, it's not really simple.
No, it's simple.
No, it's not.
I'm going to go, there's got to be tens of thousands of pictures of Earth from space. I don't need any science. I don't need an engineering degree. I don't need how to put numbers together and all this stuff. Just show, I'm going to show you pictures, many pictures, and I'm going to text them to you, show you pictures of Earth from space. So you go to Google and pictures of Earth from space, and you look at them, and obviously, like right away, I thought, these are all CGI cartoons. There should be tens of thousands of real, actual pictures. So then I started looking into it, and then I thought, and these pictures are coming from the NASA website, nasa.gov. I'm like, NASA is in charge of space information?
Doesn't have pictures?
And I already thought, okay, NASA faked multiple moon missions.
And you can see whenever the space shuttle lands, you can hear it. It's a loud jet engine. You watch any video of the space shuttle landing, you can tell it's a jet engine. It's a jet-powered aircraft. That's it. It's not a glider. In my video, I show you a glider, how that seems, and then I show you the space shuttle. And yeah, it's not a glider. It's an aircraft. And that's what they're fooling us. They're taking billions of dollars in and giving us images and fake planes for that 10 billion, you know, however many billions of dollars it is.
Now, as soon as I find out that these fake pictures of Earth from space, like I don't know why there should be any, they're coming from NASA, and then you look into it and they admit it. They go, yes, these are all like composites, CGI. So NASA's not even saying they're real pictures. Why? And then, don't we have Hubble? Why don't you point it at the Earth and get some awesome shots of where we live? How come Hubble's not taking any?
Turn the Hubble around and show us Earth in real time, zooming in onto a place so that we can see what's happening at that place, and we know that there is something up there looking down on us from space. But they will not do it. They can't do it. It can't. It doesn't exist. It literally doesn't exist. It's all fraud. It's all fake. Pretty much everything NASA puts out is fraudulent.
Every Hubble photoshopped image and the entire NASA organization are one big hoax created to convince you that the Earth is not flat. Over the past 5 decades, through lies and photo and video trickery, the Freemasons at NASA have effectively convinced the entire world to believe several myths totally contrary to our senses and personal experience. They claim, contrary to our senses, that many of us are standing upside down, thinking we are right side up, on the underside of a spinning ball Earth. They claim, contrary to our senses, that we are reeling through space at millions of miles per hour, that stars are actually suns, that the sun is actually bigger than the moon, and that most stars are actually bigger than the sun. We can clearly see and feel, however, that we are standing right side up on a motionless, flat Earth. The sun and moon are the same size. The stars are clearly smaller than both and cannot be proven to be distant suns in other solar systems. With a little Photoshop, rocket technology, and a bunch of lying Freemasons, NASA has convinced nearly everyone on Earth to disbelieve their own eyes, common sense, and experience.
It seems like Admiral Byrd found the edge of the dome, while he was out there. And as soon as he left there, they started firing missiles straight up, I believe, to try and test how far that dome went. If you watch the trajectory of the space shuttle, it doesn't go straight up. It always goes in a curve and out to sea.
Nicholas Copernicus, Johannes Kepler, Galileo Galilei, and Isaac Newton, the 4 forefathers of the globalist heliocentric doctrine, all posed for Masonic portraits, highlighting various symbols and hand signs denoting their affiliation with the Brotherhood. Galileo poses on a Masonic checkerboard floor, Kepler with the hidden hand sign, and all 4 of them pose with a Masonic compass and globe while flashing the Masonic M hand sign. Sir Isaac Newton was even knighted by Queen Anne at Trinity's College Masonic Master's Lodge. An inordinate number of NASA astronauts, the current propagators of the globalist heliocentric doctrine, are or were admitted Freemasons as well.
These Masons in the game, Walt Disney and Werner von Braun, a former Nazi, and then NASA head.
NASA astronauts Neil Armstrong, Alan Shepard, William Pogue, Vance Brand, and Anthony England all had fathers who were Freemasons too. The amount of astronauts known to be Freemasons or from Freemasonic families is astonishing. It is likely that more astronauts and people of key importance in NASA are affiliated with the Brotherhood as well, but not so open about their membership. For there to be this many Masons, members of the world's largest and oldest secret society, involved with the promotion and propagation of this globalist heliocentric doctrine from its outset to today, should raise some serious suspicion. C. Fred Kleinknecht, head of NASA at the time of the Apollo space program, is now the sovereign Grand Commander of the Council of the 33rd Degree of the ancient and accepted Scottish Rite of Freemasonry of Southern jurisdiction. It was his reward for pulling it off. All of the first astronauts were Freemasons. There's a photograph in the House of the Temple in Washington, D.C. of Neil Armstrong supposedly on the moon's surface in his spacesuit holding his Masonic apron.
But they're carrying on the tradition with the mocking of the masses. Talking about mockery, just take a look at this company, Orion Telescope Center, located in Cupertino, California. Take a look at their company logo, and what do you see? Basically the dome with the flat earth. These people know the earth is flat. They are just profiting those gullible people that just believe all the lies of science. When the foundation is a lie, everything else after is a lie as well. Here's a closer look at the storefront. Right in front of your face. And here's the dome above the flat earth. What a complete joke.
The ancient mystery religions venerated the sun, the solar disk, as deity. The Greeks honored Apollo as the child of the sun. The Romans paid homage to Mithra, the sun god. These pagan philosophies form the basis for the worship of the Illuminati and indicate the importance of the sun as a symbol of satanic deity. Now today, the Masons, as did the apostate Jewish elders and priests in the days of Ezekiel, continue to worship Satan the sun god, also called Lucifer or Baal, by other names. The name of their great god Jabulon, which is revealed to the Masons in the higher degrees, is a synonym for the solar deity. Two of the three syllables in the name, Ba and Lan, mean Baal, and On, both of which represent sun and fire gods. The winged disc symbol, displayed prominently over the doorway of Masonic lodges, shows a solar disc with eagle's wings and two serpents. This ancient symbol was found in Egyptian, Sumerian, Mesopotamian, Hittite, Anatolian, Persian, Native American, Mexican, and Australian tribal cultures, always representative of the sun.
We have the black hole sun, we have the flat earth, and the dome. All right? You'll see in the Naval Historian and in the Naval Academy on the walls, they have all these pictures showing you that there's a dome. And you'll see over here again, another picture, a dome. And another picture over here, a dome, and the flat, what looks like a flat plane. That you're under a dome and that you've been hexed and that you've given up the ship.
NASA's logo is a red forked serpent's tongue overlaying the starry heavens. Serpents, and specifically their forked tongues, have long been associated with lying, deceit, cleverness, two-facedness.
At the center of the flat Earth plane is where we find the Aurora Borealis. It shoots out of an opening, a holy hole. Through this vortex is a paradise that has gone by a plethora of names, one of which is the Garden of Eden. As I've been explaining, when we go through this vortex, we go to inner Earth, powered by the black sun. And when we drink from the living waters below, our physical avatars are renewed.
Now look, here, the tower is in the Dark Tower series too. Above it, it says End World. End is an anagram for Eden. Switch the D and N around, and you have EDN, or Eden. Notice the red roses ringing it. Notice, too, the mountains just before.
The first book of Adam and Eve reveals exactly this. This lost book of the Bible is a written history of what happened in the days of Adam and Eve after they were cast out of the garden, out of paradise. On the third day, God planted the garden in the east of the earth, on the border of the world eastward, beyond which, towards the sun rising, one finds nothing but water that encompasses the whole world and reaches to the borders of heaven. And to the north of the garden, there is a sea of water, clear and pure to the taste, unlike anything else, so that through the clearness thereof, one may look into the depths of the earth.
If we look at Mercator's map, we can see the North Pole has a mountain or tower at the middle. Which is shown on the Wizard of Oz's map as well. Only difference here is the oceans are sand instead of water.
The azimuthal equidistant projection map, which is a map that is shown as emblem on the United Nations flag, and it just shows all the continents of the earth situated in singular circular embrace around the North Pole as center of this map. Once you understand that the sun and the moon move in circuit in clockwise fashion above the circle of the earth, then you understand how this particular passage, his going forth is from the end of the heaven, and his circuit unto the ends of it, and there is nothing hid from the heat thereof. You understand how this passage applies to the circuit of the sun.
First, let's take a closer look at the tower on the Dark Tower's map. We have 12 beams coming out from the center. The beams are named after animals. Which is very similar to the Chinese zodiac with 12 animals circling a central point. And we have a yin-yang symbol, or a whirlpool, in the middle. Remember, Mercator mentioned that the 4 inland drawing seas met at a magnetic tower which they swirled around in a great whirlpool.
I cover a portion of the Book of Enoch called The Courses of the Heavenly Luminaries, which describes in 14 chapters the detailed description of the movements of both the sun and the moon, and through the 6 gates of heaven which lie between both tropics, the Tropic of Capricorn and the Tropic of Cancer.
Now we know that the zodiac, or zodiac, zoo of the arch, also is made up mostly of animals. And what is really Noah's Ark, the Ark of the Zodiac. And is also related to time, to our clock. And some people say our world was by chance. Look how everything amazingly fits together. It just really impresses me to no end. Every detail planned out, macro to the micro.
We are living here within the reflection of the actual whole. This is the whole, which is actually empty. This division symbol is everything that you need to know about this existence. It shows you how Source created itself. It took everything that it is and reflected it to make everything that it is not. We are living within the male, the Y chromosome paradigm.
And Adam and Eve went from before the gate of the garden to the southern side of it, and found there the water that watered the garden from the root of the tree of life, and that split itself from there into 4 rivers over the earth. Then they came and went near to that water, and looked at it, and saw that it was the water that came forth from under the root of the tree of life in the garden.
So we see how the tower is reflected in the constellations above, how it is actually the macro version of our clock, how we tell time. Now let's look at the roses. They are red for a reason. They are connected to King Arthur and his 12 knights of the Round Table. What do we see in the middle? Why the red rose? Notice Arthur is meant to be in the middle. He holds the 13th position, the one in the center, the one represented by the red rose. Which reminds us of Jesus and his 12 disciples, which are actually seated at a round table as well. Notice the circular cutout right in front of Jesus. They hide this in plain sight. And Jesus is in the center. Again, he holds the 13th position. The disciples represent the 12 months and are broken into groups of 3, representing the 4 seasons.
We are not any of this. And that is why we're here, so we can truly know who we were. And that was only possible by this duality, by Source reflecting everything that it is and everything that it is not. If you take 2 mirrors that are parallel on opposite sides of the wall, they reflect infinitely and infinitely and infinitely.
The paradise of the gods. This paradise has been called Anwin, Asgard, Duat, Hyperborea, and Shambhala. Shambhala is a mystical kingdom talked about in Tibetan texts, where the most sacred of the Buddhist teachings are preserved. Hindus have known it as Aryavarsha, a land of enlightened beings from which the Vedas came. In Tibet, Shambhala is regarded as the true center of the planet, as the world's spiritual powerhouse. For years, there's been debate over where Shambhala is, But as I've described in past videos, its true location is beyond the center vortex at the true North Pole. According to Lama Kunga Rinpoche, Shambhala is probably at the North Pole, since the North Pole is surrounded by ice, and Shambhala is surrounded by ice mountains.